Well, good morning, everybody. I'm so glad to be here with you again today. And yes, I'm wearing earmuffs to cancel out the noise. It seems like all I've heard about uh, this week, particularly, is food noise. Maybe it's the time of year with all of the eating festivities that are going to be coming and have already started with the Halloween trick-or-treating season. Uh, and I have noticed that absolutely food has been much more on my mind. I read a report in Nature magazine on one subject that found brain activity that correlated with variations in the experience of food noise. They concluded that the effects of a drug called trizepatide trizepatide on food noise might be explaining the modulation on activity in that particular region of our brains. Researchers focused their monitoring reports on moments when the people reported intense food preoccupation. Have you ever had intense food preoccupation? I certainly have, and it seems like this time of the year, I'm much more preoccupied with thoughts of food. Anyway, the researchers found increased brain activity in a certain frequency band known as the delta theta frequency band in our brains, which might serve as a biomarker of food preoccupation vulnerability. Some common causes of food noise that I recognize, and you might too, are chronic dieting, the scarcity of food, uh, poor stress management, nervous system dysregulation, labeling food as a good food or a bad food. Poor meal planning and spacing of meals. Do you try to compact them all in a short period of time? Do you try to stretch them out as far apart as you can? Nutrition deficiencies. Are we focusing more on one food group and ignoring others that we need for best health? Uh, Poor habitual patterns with food, emotional regulation issues. Do you eat more when you get upset or excited or anxious, whatever? And even mindless eating when you're just sitting around talking with people, visiting, picking, and all of a sudden you look down and you say to yourself, oh, well, that's all gone. I don't remember eating any of it, but it's all gone. This is a clue. Not necessarily an answer like most things. Our relationship with food is extremely complex. Clinical reports on the experience of food noise, though, has been really striking lately. Uh, One of the new reports offers a tantalizing clue, but it is an observation from a single case study that offers an important clue. Only a clue. There's a lot more testing that needs to be done before you say, ah, yes, this is the definite answer. We define food noise as persistent, intrusive thoughts about food that are destructive to our daily lives and make healthy behavior even more difficult. There has been a questionnaire developed, a new tool to assess the likelihood that you may be dealing with food noise um, as part of your struggle during this particular time of the year. It was funded by a grant from a group that all of us know very well, Weight Watchers. And they have already, I think, implemented some of their findings in what they tend to do. Um, But the questionnaire itself has been hailed as being really significant in the assessment of identifying if this is a problem with which we contend. It is just 5 questions to ask yourself. And these 5 questions are very simple. They are, uh, do I find myself constantly thinking about food off and on throughout the day? That's question one. Question two, uh, do my thoughts about food feel uncontrollable? Question three, do I spend too much time thinking about food? Or, as my sons put it, do I spend too much time thinking about my next feeding opportunity? Uh, Question number four, my thoughts about food have negative effects on me and on my life. My and the final one is, do my thoughts about food distract me from what I need to be doing? I'm sure most of you have also become aware that there is a medication out that is supposed to quieten this food noise. Patients with food noise on medication therapy might also want to get in touch with a peer group or lifestyle counseling and get additional support in that way. Now, with the advent of the new GLP-1 obesity medications, many patients are voicing something new and exciting to them, which is that these medications do seem to quiet their food noise. I know one time one of my doctors, when we were talking, asked me what I really would like to see accomplished. And I said, I'd like to be able to quit thinking about food all the time. It's just always there in the back of my head, chattering around. And, maybe for some people, these medications might be of help. They might not, but you don't just rule something out categorically. For the first time ever, as I said, people are voicing how their lessening food noise is helping them control some of their worst eating behaviors. And like a lot of things, we don't know that we've even got it until it's gone. And you might look up one day and say, well, in fact, I read a story from a lady the other day who had been successful in losing a little, almost 40 pounds, and that's exactly what she said was, I just realized I'm not thinking about food all the time. And no, she was not taking one of the meds, but she had reached a place in dealing with food noise in her head where she was really becoming to understand that food noise is a new name for an old problem. Uh, when medications lessen food noise, it allows patients to follow a healthier diet. But a healthier eating pattern doesn't just happen overnight. In fact, uh, we can develop nutritional deficiencies without lifestyle behavior guidance if we aren't careful. And we also need to be sure that we make advanced planning. Even people like us who are successful in quieting the noise may find that we have to stop and de escalate uh, for various reasons and readjust to avoid food deficiencies. Boy, that's a hard word for me to say, and I'm not sure why. I think I just don't put my tongue behind my teeth in the proper way. But here are some tips that I have found that work pretty well for me in quieting all the food chatter that goes on inside my brain and penetrates my consciousness and uh, gets in the way of progress sometimes. That, this mental chatter that's called food noise, while it's not officially a medical diagnosis, for many people, it's a very real experience that can affect how we eat, how we feel about our bodies, and our overall well being. Um, let's take a closer look at what we can do to try to quieten food noise in this season where food is everywhere and there's all kinds of noise about it from everyone in our circle. Uh, there is no single cause of food noise. It could be a combination of biological, psychological, and environmental factors. But here are four common triggers. The first one are constant cues, ads, social media, or even catching a whiff of freshly baked food can make food harder to ignore. We all know that, right? Deprivation from certain foods. If you're restricting food too much or skipping meals, your body may decide to respond with stronger cravings. Hey, pay attention here. I'm hungry. Uh, Lack of sleep or high stress. Both of these factors can affect your hormones that regulate feelings of hunger and fullness, uh, like ghrelin and leptin are two of the strongest ones that will have bearing on this. Ultra processed foods, foods high in sugar, foods high in fat, foods high in salt can activate your brain's reward system. They stimulate the production of dopamine, uh, and you just want more. And that leads to more cravings. How uh, food noise can impact your health on a regular basis. When food is constantly on my mind, it can take a toll on more than just my eating habits. Food noise, for me, can be linked at any particular point in time in difficulty maintaining a balance of consumption of the healthy food nutrients throughout the day. I tend to just push them aside and go to the foods making more noise. It can also lead to extreme eating habits, such as restrictive eating or overeating. I'm sure that some of us have experienced uh, overeating a particular favorite food during a particular season of the year. It just stimulates all of your senses to the point where you overindulge. It also tends to increase snacking and overeating. Um, One of my favorite new food noises this time of the year, particularly, is when we all get together as a family and there are things out to pick on, snacks and other things. Uh, Different members of the family will look at you and say things like, "Oh, don't you like it? I made it especially for you." It's just more clutter, more food noise going in there, pressing on you, uh, uh, helping you make decisions that are probably not in your best interest. Um, it can also impact related health concerns like elevating your blood pressure, sleep apnea, having spikes in your blood sugar levels that you're working on to maintain your best health. So, here are some things that we can try as we are in full swing into this noisy food season to quieten it down just a little bit. You don't need to follow a really strict diet or overhaul your whole routine overnight. Instead, let's focus on small intentional habits that support our bodies and our minds and our best health. The first one for me is to practice mindful eating. Slowing down and paying attention to my meals and snacks can help reduce impulsive eating. Rather than being frustrated with the noise, intentionally and mindfully eating could foster a better enjoyment and understanding of what the body needs. So let's try to eat without distraction, like your phone or your TV. Focus on enjoying the flavors and textures of the food rather than just the act of eating. And the last one is to tune into hunger and fullness cues. Sometimes we tend to eat well beyond satisfying hunger or feelings of fullness. We just keep picking at it. Number two, choose foods that keep you full. Meals with a mix of protein, fiber, and healthy fats can help reduce cravings between meals and actually make us feel fuller longer. Things like grilled chicken with a ancient grain, um, less processed grain, and roasted vegetables, or a cup of Greek yogurt topped with some berries and some nuts. Uh, could be things that could help to keep you full. The third one is to be sure you get enough sleep and are managing your stress levels appropriately. Even good stress, when you're happy to see everybody and the whole clan has come together again with all of its chaotic laughter and joy, can elevate your stress levels and diminish the amount of sleep you're getting because you want to stay up and talk with each other as long as you can. When you're tired or feeling stressed, the food noise tends to get louder. I remember in the Golden Girls when the ladies would get upset, the first thing they would do would go to the uh, freezer on the ice box and pull out a carton of ice cream. Uh, the food noise just got louder and louder, though they were not dealing with being hungry at all. Uh, Try to aim for 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night and try stress reducing activities like just pausing occasionally to take a deep breath, uh, maybe 10 times, uh, stretching, or even just going outside the house and walking around the block and changing the scenery and your environment does help you regulate the sound of the food noise. It's amazing how quiet it can get when you're out by yourself doing that. The fourth thing that you can try to do is to adjust that environment, and going outside is a great way to get away from some of the noise. Your surroundings play a large role in how often you think about food. Here are some tips you can try. Excuse me just a second. Thank you. I have a frog in my throat all of a sudden. My goodness. Keep snacks out of sight or skip buying them altogether. For me, that's the better solution is to skip buying them altogether. Some snacks are too hard for me to resist, and the noise really gets loud. It's almost like it's sitting over there in a bag looking at me saying, "Hey, listen, I'm over here getting stale. Do something about it." And then the other thing is to plan your meals ahead of time to try to avoid extreme hunger and making last minute decisions, such as going out for pizza or some other fast food. And portion out the snacks in a small bowl or on a plate rather than pile them into a big, what seems to be endless bowl there for the taking. That way, you're not so tempted to overeat so many of them. Uh, Tip number 5 is to recognize your triggers. Take a note of when food noise tends to show up. Is it tied to certain times of the day, certain emotions, certain routines, certain people? Once you spot and identify the pattern, it's easier to make some kind of a plan uh, to control those triggers. The last one is move your body. Exercise really can help regulate your hunger hormones and boost your mood, both of which can aid in lowering the level of food noise. You don't have to do anything intense. A brisk short walk, maybe some light yoga or Tai Chi, or even a short bike ride can make a big difference. If you have grandchildren or young children of your own, just going outside with them and breathing in the fresh air can help so much. This is all about building a healthier relationship with food. Food noise doesn't mean we're doing anything wrong. It just means our bodies and brains may be needing a little bit extra support. Start small, and with time and practice, you can learn to tune out the mental chatter and make choices that feel good for you and your body. And you can even take off your earmuffs and tell the food noise to take a hike, that you're not going to be listening to it anymore. You have many better and more fun things to do. Have a great week. I will talk to you later. Bye for now.